Buenos días, tardes, noches. Espero que se encuentren muy bien en este día. El mundo actual en el que vivimos y su historia nos ha traído avances en materia tecnológica, médica y social que han permitido lograr la conformación de la actualidad y la realidad de la sociedad de hoy en día. El día de hoy, en este podcast, vamos a profundizar un poco en el tema de la globalización y cómo ésta ha influido en la política de América Latina. Antes de esto, es necesario que aclaremos unos puntos y conceptos básicos para dar así un mayor entendimiento al tema en cuestión. El primer concepto que abordaremos es el de la globalización. Se preguntarán, ¿qué es la globalización? La globalización se refiere a la constante integración y evolución de las economías de todo el mundo, tanto en África como en Asia, Europa, Oceanía, incluso de nuestros vecinos de Norteamérica, especialmente a través del comercio y los flujos financieros. A continuación, escucharemos la percepción que tiene Noam Chomsky sobre la globalización. Noam Chomsky es un lingüista, filósofo, politólogo y activista estadounidense. Escúchenlo.
Globalization. First of all, what is it? Globalization, used neutrally, globalization just means international integration. Okay, everybody's in favor of it. It's been the core principle of the left and the working class movement since their origins. That's why every union is called an international. Okay, everybody's in favor of globalization. Now, the term has been appropriated by a narrow sector of power and privilege to refer to their version of international integration, the investor rights version. And that makes sense for them to try to to own the term, because anyone who's opposed to their version then becomes anti-globalization, meaning some kind of primitive who wants to go back to the Stone Age or something like that. It's a bad error on the part of the critics of this investor rights version of integration to accept the term anti-globalization. They should not. We're all in favor of globalization. The question is it going to be in the interests of people or in the interests of private power? Right now, just using the term neutrally now, has it increased or has it decreased? Well, in many respects, it's decreased. Take what Adam Smith meant by it, okay? You're supposed to love Adam Smith. The core of free trade, according to Adam Smith, is what he called free circulation of labor, meaning people can go wherever they want. If you don't have that, you can't even begin to talk about free trade. Well, if we measure that, what's happened to globalization? Globalization in the sense of movement across borders, that's declined. And in fact, what has increased, on the other hand, by other measures, globalization has increased very fast, like movement of capital. So increase of capital flow across borders has just escalated astronomically in the last 25 years by the breakdown of capital controls. The Bretton Woods system, the preceding 25 years, was based on control of capital movement. By that measure, there's more globalization. You measure by people, less globalization. By capital movement, more globalization. In fact, you see it very dramatically in the U.S.-Mexico relation. So the U.S.-Mexico border, it was militarized in 1994 under Clinton's Operation Gatekeeper. It was militarized in order to stop the movement of people across the border, that is, to cut back international integration. Why in 1994? Well, because that was the year when NAFTA was initiated. NAFTA is claimed to be something that increases integration between Mexico and the United States, but not people. Measured by people, it cuts back the flow. That's why you had to militarize the border. Why did they want to militarize the border? Well, because what they predicted in Mexico is what's called an economic miracle from NAFTA, which means a disaster for most of the population. Wages have dropped precipitously, investment has declined, and in general it's been a kind of an economic miracle. Economic miracle means that for a small sector of wealthy people, And for foreign investors, it's fantastic. That's the definition of a miracle. And they expected that, and that's why you had to militarize the border. So did that increase integration or decrease it? Well, you know, that's an ideological question. Depends what you want to measure. When you militarize a border to prevent people from moving freely, by Adam Smith's measure, it decreases it. Okay, by the measure of, you know, the owners of the economy, it increases it. They make more profit. What about trade? You know, everybody reads that trade increased between Mexico and the United States. Did it? Well, not by Adam Smith's measures. Before NAFTA, you know, in 1993, there was plenty of movement of commodities across the border, but about 50% of it was internal to a firm. Okay, that's not trade. Okay, at least by classical economic measures. That's no more trade than if General Motors moved something from Indiana to Illinois. Well, it was 50% before NAFTA, now it's about 66%. Very little of what's going on across borders is trade in any serious sense. Some things have definitely declined, like movement of people. In the case of NAFTA, not just by accident, by militarizing the border. Just a day or two ago, Bush announced further militarization of the border. That's cutting back international integration. I mean, the pretext is drugs, but you know, that's pretext for anything. So you just can't answer these questions simply about globalization. There's just too many different ways of looking at it.
Chomsky nos habla de la antiglobalización y que es estúpido pensar en esta, ya que todos, de una forma u otra, estamos de acuerdo con la globalización. La verdadera pregunta es, ¿esta va a ser en interés de las personas o del poder privado? Desde acá podemos tomar la globalización y cómo ésta se ha unido a una gran mayoría de discursos políticos por todo el mundo, que han tenido como base fundamental el discurso de la globalización. Esto lo podemos evidenciar en los discursos de Donald Trump, Barack Obama, Joe Biden. No nos tenemos que ir tan lejos. Inclusive en nuestro lado de América es posible encontrar discursos que prometen una globalización más contundente con enfoques al crecimiento económico, tanto de la región como del país correspondiente. A continuación, escucharemos un breve discurso del presidente de Uruguay, José Mujica, sobre su percepción sobre la globalización y cómo ésta afecta a Latinoamérica.
Hace pocos días le hicieron ahí en California, en una agencia de bomberos, un homenaje a una bombita eléctrica que hace 100 años está prendida. 100 años que está prendida, amigo. ¿Cuántos millones de dólares nos sacaron del bolsillo haciendo deliberadamente porquería para que la gente compre, 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 compre? Pero esta globalización de mirar por todo el planeta y por toda la vida significa un cambio cultural brutal. Es lo que nos está requiriendo la historia. Toda la base material ha cambiado y ha tambaleado. Los hombres, con nuestra cultura, permanecemos como si no hubiera pasado nada. Y en lugar de gobernar la globalización, esta nos gobierna a nosotros. Hace más de 20 años...
Para concluir, la política ha cambiado de tal manera que no se puede hacer política sin mencionar de una forma u otra la globalización y tanto los beneficios como defectos de esta. Es necesario encontrar el camino para lograr una globalización productiva y que busque el beneficio de todos, tanto en Latinoamérica como en el mundo. Gracias.